you for joining us. We will just give it a few minutes before we start to make sure everyone is here. Fantastic. Chloe here from the Great British Entrepreneur Awards. Welcome to our 2021 Finalist Announcement Workshops in partnership with Funding Options. Thank you for joining us today. And this has been a record-breaking year for the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, with over 4,800 applications received this year. We are really excited to be announcing our shortlist today for the Entrepreneurial Spirit Award. And before we do that, we are joined by Peter Kelly, co-founder of Employable. Peter won the National Entrepreneurial Spirit Award in 2018 with us, and he will share his entrepreneurial journey and how winning GBEA has impacted his business. If you would like to ask any questions, you can pop this in the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, and we'll do our best to try and answer these later on. And with that, I'll pass over to Zoe Cornish of Funding Options, who will be hosting today's session before we announce the shortlist.
Thanks, Chloe. Morning all, I'm Zoe and I am the People Director at Funding Options, and I'm really delighted to be with you all today. Funding Options supports business owners across the UK and Netherlands, connecting them with the right funding so that they can trade, plan and grow with confidence. To date, we've been able to support and help 10,000 businesses accessing over £500 million in vital funding. And I'm really delighted to have the pleasure to ask Peter some questions and understand a bit more about his journey today. So, morning, Peter.
Good morning.
So, could you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, so Employable is a career management tool. So it's an app-based technology that we built to be able to empower people to take charge of their own careers, to be able to identify, map and track their way into a new career. And it just sits with people for life, really, and helps give them options to train in, options to different jobs, industry insights, coaching, and everything that an individual will need to develop their career.
Fantastic. And could you talk to us a little bit about your funding journey, which has gone alongside running the business?
Yeah, so any founder will tell you the funding is the worst part of my life, and it seems like we're always fundraising. We started the company in mid-2017. And we started by, I approached 5 of my friends and said, hey, I need 20 grand. Can you give me 20 grand? Which they did.
You've got some good friends.
Oh, yeah, I have got some.
Give them a shout out on here.
Yeah, so Matt, Neil of Barbecue and Jeff and Ed Newman and a few of the lads put in, because I'm an ex-Royal Marine. So I've got a very close-knit group of Royal Marine friends, and they threw in quite blindly, actually. But that initial 20 grand allowed us to go and fake it till we make it, basically. It was the app was far too difficult to build any sort of MVP without 6 figures. And so we just got the graphic designs done and then basically prototyped on a graphic design prototyped and pretended that this is how it worked. And we ended up getting £300,000 of seed investment with a £200,000 line of credit to go alongside that. We then did a crowdfunding round in 2019 with 300 shareholders, and we just closed another crowdfunding round with another 290 odd shareholders. So we now have over 600 shareholders, which is crazy. We've taken over £1 million in investment, and now we're really hitting that acceleration stage now. So we're really hitting the scale up stage.
Fantastic. Could you talk to us about what it means to you to have sort of entrepreneurial spirit?
So there's a saying, isn't there, that you never know when you're 3 feet from gold. And yeah. I think the entrepreneurial spirit is the person, or for me especially, I always believe I'm that 3 feet from gold. And because I'm so close to that gold, and I won't give up. And there's always another way to do things. And I think the entrepreneurial spirit is about saying, well, I know what we're trying to achieve. Which is change. That's what we exist to achieve. And there is a solution to every one of our problems, and we'll do whatever it takes to be able to do that. And I think it's just an amalgamation of resilience and determination, passion and confidence. And I think you mangle it all together and out pops something that could look like success.
And I guess if you had like one hot tip to kind of share with people today, what would that be?
I get asked this a lot, right? And I change it every time, which I think is crazy. Firstly, I think that actually there is such thing as failure, but there's no real such thing as failure, if you know what I mean. It's about learning. So doing things wrong is part and parcel of being an entrepreneur, and you have to do things wrong to learn how to do it right. So it's completely forgivable to do things wrong and to get it wrong. What's unforgivable is to get the same thing wrong over and over again. You have to learn from the things that you get wrong. So it's about just saying, well, that might be not the way to do it, but we've learned that's definitely not the way to do it, and then tweak and you will find the way to do it. Macro, micro testing, etc. No failure ever.
I like that. Fantastic. And what has winning the Great British Entrepreneurial Awards done for you and for your business?
So I have milked this. I have milked this that you wouldn't believe. Well, the first thing, it's recognition. When you're a founder, when you're fully ingrained in what you're doing, and you get sort of like blinkers on where you know where you're going, but you never really like to hear from other people what's going on. But then you wake up one day and you get this imposter syndrome where you think, oh my God, what we've actually built is actually any good? You're waiting for that person to come and deliver that blow that says, actually, it's not going to work. And the first thing that it did for us, just even being shortlisted, was it gave us some confidence that actually people believe what we're trying to achieve. So, there is a need. And I think that was the first, that bit of confidence. And then when we went on to win the regionals, and then when we won the nationals, it was almost like people started believing in us that we can achieve it, so that entrepreneurial spirit that we had, and where we lacked in brains, if you like, to the point where we've now hired all the brains that we need. That entrepreneurial spirit would have got us to where we wanted. And so it was a real confidence booster in what we did. And then I just use it as an absolute sales tool about how amazing I am and how amazing the company is. And you know what, it actually does throw a lot of weight, because people mess with me all the time and say, oh, you've won, great. It was then the NatWest Great British Entrepreneurial Awards, now the Starling Award. It's, people do hang on to that, and they think that you must be quite good at what you do if you're going to win prestigious awards like that. So absolutely milked it, and I will continue to milk it until it's 10 years old.
Brilliant. So you've obviously seen kind of real value of winning the award, which is great. We've got some questions in from the people that are with us today. So got a question. I've got two that are very similar, which are asking a question around, if there's one thing that you could wish that you could have done differently, what would that be? I like these. These are some toughy questions coming on.
They are, but do you know what? Nothing. I wouldn't have done anything differently, not one thing. And even when you look and you go, well, that could have gone different. Actually, what we learned from it was very, very important. And it's actually really important to learn quickly and learn early, because it costs less money. So even though there are times where I've sat there crying, wondering what I'm doing with my life, actually, I needed those experiences, so I wouldn't have done anything differently at all, actually. Which might sound like a cop-out, I hope not.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. So someone said that they love your company name. It's clear that it's related to you. You seem to be at the top of the search of Google. Was it hard to get there?
Yeah, so we actually called ourselves, our name is still For Who Limited. So when me and Kieran started the company, we was like For Who, F-O-U-R Who, because we got 4 different user groups: businesses, people, training providers. And then we was in our first investor meeting, and we was explaining what it was, and the woman who we was talking to, she was head of recruitment for Shell, who's quite a big company. And she was like, I don't know your name, I don't get it, I don't like it. And we were like, do you know what? We don't like it either. We'd had a few beers at the point. And we travelled up the next day, because we were in Plymouth, and we travelled back to Plymouth from London, and all we kept doing was looking at different names. And I said to Kieran, look, just Google employable with an I. And it turned out that it was the old English spelling of employable. It was not used, if you look at the colours of our logos, we're going for a rebrand, but it's not changing too much. It's actually I'm able, and that's what we try to get people to do, is just know that they're able to achieve. So it kind of just worked. It was a complete accident. I could sit here and say that I put like maths into it and all sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes something will just smack you in the face, and it was just the universe delivering.
Yeah,
that's all I can explain it.
That's a really nice story. Could you talk to us a little bit how you scaled up with your team?
So easily the hardest thing I've ever done is scaling a team, because I am not the cleverest person in my company. Marina is the cleverest person in my company. She's a COO and she's the one who gets everything done. I just like gob off and talk about vision. But she's really good. And the thing is, when we started very early, we knew that we wouldn't be able to go and get like PhDs and you know, but what we looked at was the potential. How could we go and build a team that had unlimited potential? Someone who had people who had the drive and determination to go and get the skills that we didn't have, but we knew that we could invest in those skills. So we took on this team that you would have thought was just a bunch of misfits who, you know, who very quickly accelerated into the role. They got passion. They believed what we were trying to do. You know, they made the mission their mission. And now we've probably spent about 25 grand on qualifications over the last 3 years, upskilling our team. And I remember I did an interview with someone for marketing, and I purposely did 2 interviews, one with someone who was eminently qualified and one with who had no qualifications. And the person who was eminently qualified didn't understand us, didn't care, just wanted the money, didn't even look at our website. This is marketing. Didn't even look at our website. And tried to, you know, pull the wool over my eyes. Oh, why haven't you looked at our website? Oh, what did you to explain it to me? Rubbish. This other person came in with no qualifications, said, I know I'm not qualified for this job, but I have some amazing ideas. So I brought her in, listened to her ideas, and then we gave her the qualification and said, come in. So scaling the team is very, very hard. At the very early stages, it's not all about what the brain does, it's about what the heart says. And then you can always teach skills, as long as they understand that the company is going to be on this trajectory, and they need to be on that trajectory as well. Same as me, you know, same as all of our team.
Yeah. So definitely, I have a role focused on people, and I know the challenges, but also the reward as well from working with a growing team. I think my kind of last question to you is from someone out in the audience who would like to ask, is it harder for ex-forces to change career? And does your experience as an ex-Royal Marine help others? And I think everyone would be really interested to know this.
So it's hard. I spent a year unemployed. So I started this company because I came out of the Marines, highly qualified, and spent a year unemployed. And, you know, 1 week I'm an instructor at the Commando Training Centre, and literally 2 weeks later I was at the job centre, you know, thinking, what have I done with my life? It's not that I was less employable than other people. It's that I did not know how to transfer my skills from the military. You know, I was in Afghanistan running helicopter reconnaissance. You know, in what way is that translatable to civilian street? But when you say, right, actually, I had about £2 billion worth of assets and 40 lives that I was in charge of using determination, resilience, communication skills, you know, all of a sudden those skills start getting drawn out, because they're going, well, actually, you've got real world skills that we need tested in an environment that, you know, is very rare to get tested in. So it's about transferring those skills. And I think the military has a hell of a lot to offer. If you think about the last 16 years that I've spent in the Royal Marines, because I'm a reservist now as well, is that those skills that I've got, so determination, working under pressure, teamwork, communication, have been hard earned. I've earned those skills. You know, I haven't just read a book, and I think those skills are really needed. But it's not just about the military. Single parents, ex offenders, you know, students, they all have these skills. It's just finding them. That's what Employable does. We look a bit deeper and show employers the skills that they otherwise wouldn't have known, therefore showing the potential of people.
Thank you. You've certainly got an amazing business that can really impact and make a difference to people's lives. And I could honestly just go on asking you questions and talking to you, because I find you really fascinating and interesting. And, you know, thank you for being so open a bit about your journey today, because I'm sure that people on this call today will take some of the learnings that you've had, and you know, you're an inspiration to what you've done and achieved in your career to date. So I am going to hand back over to Chloe now, who I think is going to move on to the shortlist.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Zoe and Peter, for joining us, and we will head over to announce the shortlist.
Chloe, is something supposed to be
yes.
playing now?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. It's just a black screen at the moment.
Yeah, we're just having an issue with the video. If you bear with me a second. Sorry, everyone, technical difficulties. Be with you in 2 seconds. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations to all those that are shortlisted. Apologies for technical fault there, but our team will be in touch with all finalists after this call. So thank you very much for joining us, and thank you again to Zoe and Peter.